Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Sunday wake-up call to you. This is Rob the Mad Hatter from the biggest show in the world, the hashtag SBTVNation, talking to my boy, the evil genius of Major League Baseball, with his selection of the intro today, Mr. Dr. Dan. What's going on, brother?
Oh, man, hey, look, 500 night last night, but we played a few dogs, so that's all right. We still, I think, we're up like a couple dollars. But,
a couple dollars.
But what that intro is, man, that's creeping death, and that's what we're going to be doing to the books today. We're just going to creep up on them, rub them right out, and take that money right back and put it in the pocket. So
rub them right out. That sounds a little, you know, this show is like PG-13, Dan. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, hey.
We're going to rub out the books today. What's going on, man? So, I'm taking a look at it. The Washington Nationals did bounce back yesterday, as I thought they would. A couple of other things happened that we talked about, but the Baltimore Orioles ended up dropping another game to the Minnesota Twins, Dan.
I know, it's crazy. You got that happening, and then you got the Mets who've scored 28 runs in the last two games.
Did you say the Mets or not? They scored the most runs in baseball this month?
In the last 4 weeks, they've scored the most runs in the National League. I don't believe it's in baseball, but in the National League. And the last two nights haven't hurt, 14 runs apiece against Colorado in that joke of a ballpark.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy.
That ballpark's a joke. I made a couple dollars because I just kept slamming the over. Whenever the live over would come out, I just slam it and slam it again. So, that was actually a lot of fun sitting there and watching that game doing that. But, it's like an arcade out there, man.
Oh, I know. It's crazy, man. I looked up. It was like the fifth inning. They already had 10, 11 runs, whatever the hell it was. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we go. They had more runs than the Giants had points.
Yeah, and what was crazy about that was, it was close. It was close, but, the crazy thing is the starter for Russin for the Rockies at one point, I think he ended up giving up 11 earned, in 2 innings.
Wow.
He didn't get an out in the third, and he was just throwing balls straight down the middle. Like, no joke, I could have hit some of those balls, and part of me thinks, they're 30 games or whatever under 500, maybe. I've seen it happen before where guys have done some stuff like that on purpose to prove a point.
Really?
But, yeah. There was a whole incident. I'm trying to remember the manager's name. It was in Seattle. The guy was a madman. Oh, my God. He was a madman. But he left a pitcher in one time to give up 18 runs. A starting pitcher, just to prove a point.
Really?
Just to prove a point. And, sometimes, it's like pitchers are very, very fickle creatures. And, that ERA, they just see that ERA going up, and maybe they just figure, what the hell, it's over. But I don't know, man. He was throwing balls right down the middle. If you watch that game or you go back and look at some of those balls, it was like 88 miles per hour right down the middle. Every single person on the Mets had a hit.
Unbelievable.
At least one. Most guys had 3.
Wow. Craziness, man. Taking a look at the AL wild card and division standings right now. So you got the Yankees, Kansas City Royals, and the Houston Astros in the league of their respective divisions. But then you got Toronto and the Texas Rangers, who have emerged into the wild card spot, dude. So,
and Toronto and the Yanks are in a virtual tie for the division, so it definitely looks like whoever doesn't win that division will get the wild card. And then, your Rangers, man.
I know, man. I'm looking forward to that. And when you look at this, the LA Angels only a half game out, Baltimore 1 game out, Minnesota Twins 1.5 games out, the nasty Tampa Bay Rays that broke everybody's heart, including Sonny Gray's, 1.5 games out. Dude, the Detroit Tigers are only 4 games out with 40 games left.
Well, what's crazy about this, and guys, except for the Athletics right now, who are, probably the second worst team in baseball. Every team is within 7.5 games of a wild card spot in the AL. So you got to start looking at teams how many teams you actually have to jump, not the number of games, and it's going to get crazy.
is there any teams that are like 7 games out that have an outside shot at all, Dan?
I can't believe I'm saying this. Maybe you know where I'm going.
I think I do know where you're going.
The Boston Red Sox.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
If they could play every game at home, they'd be okay. But, hey, I've been on the Fade Miley bandwagon all year. And remember, his last start out, he crushed it.
Yep.
If they start getting some guys that pitch decently, that's all they need. That offense is unreal.
I know. What about what happened to Buchholz? Is he coming back this year?
I'd have to look that up, but I thought he was done for the season.
Yeah, take a look at it, man. While you're looking that up, let's talk some National League real quick. You got the New York.
They're saying that right now they're basically reporting that Clay Buchholz is running out of time for a return this season. That's the headline from the Boston Globe 2 days ago. He's feeling better physically, but it's not where it needs to be. So there's a chance, but it's an outside chance, and they're probably better without him.
I got it. I don't know. He was pitching pretty good when he left, and then they just kind of started skidding.
I just love the hate on.
I know you do. New York Metropolitans in first place. The St. Lucia Cardinals in first place of their division. The L.A. Dodgers hanging by a thread. Losers of 4 straight. Thought that Greinke would get the job done, but apparently I was wrong yesterday.
The Dodgers got so lucky also yesterday that. Hey, I had the Giants at plus 150, big dogs. They ended up losing on a walk-off. But the Giants came really close to winning that game. They had a home run robbed from them in the first inning, which, if it worked out, it would have been a 3-2 game Giants. But, hey, It is what it is. But the Dodgers are terrible. The Giants look, even in losses, they look okay. They look pretty good. I still think the Giants win that division.
Really? And now the fact that Greinke actually lost the game, now you're not going to see him for a few days. They got 3 pitchers to go through. Obviously, you got Clayton Kershaw, but then you got to go back to, who do you got, Alex Wood and Latos?
No, you got it, what's his name, Radley or whatever.
Oh, my God, they're in trouble, man. They're in trouble.
No, they're in a lot of trouble. Like we said yesterday, they went to that 4-man rotation. That's panic move city.
Yes.
For a team that is paying, they have a $300 million payroll.
Yep.
Okay. They're also paying another $90 million to relievers that aren't even on the team anymore.
That's sick.
That's like, and you're telling me that you couldn't go out there and try and get a Hamels? You let Texas get him?
I know. Hamels, Cueto, David Price. Come on, man. Do something.
You had to, even if the Dodgers had came to the Mets for like John Neese, John Neese would have been a very serviceable third starter for them.
Right.
It's really a joke. I don't know what's going to happen with this team, but again, they, $300 million, and I don't think they make the playoffs. I've called this from the beginning of the season. I thought it was going to be the Padres that would rise up and challenge them. I should have known better, but the Giants, they're in that August-September form.
Yes.
And, hey, man, I think the Giants roll away with this division.
Well, the Giants got to play Sunday Night Baseball tonight at Pittsburgh versus Lariano, so we'll see what ends up happening with that. And the Arizona Diamondbacks, I know they're allergic to 500, so they're probably feeling a little crazy right now being at 500, Dan.
I know. Maybe it means that they're just going to go on this crazy 15-game winning streak.
Dude, if they do, that would be insanity, Dan. I would love to see that. And I got dude, they're not that bad, man. So
no. I was actually doing some reading yesterday, and I read an MLB article that actually it was funny because it summed up my thoughts on the Diamondbacks. How they're next year. That team is going to be very good. If they can bring in one more pitcher, that team is going to, some bullpen stuff.
Yeah.
Man, that team could be really good. Their offense is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, and their defense is pretty good.
Yeah, they're a scary team, man.
They would have to go on a tremendous run because nobody's winning the wild cards, I don't think, except for Pittsburgh or Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, good point.
So they would have to go and win their division, which, they would need like a 15-game winning streak. And you have the Giants to contend. I wouldn't be, it's crazy to say it. Maybe I'm overstating it. I just wouldn't be too worried about the Dodgers. To me, it's like if you can catch up to the Giants, you got a chance. But like you said, with Greinke losing, with them going to the 4-man rotation, could you imagine if Kershaw gets beat today?
Oh, forget it, dude.
That team probably loses, usually 4 or 5 in a row or whatever it is at this point.
And it's amazing, Dan, that the LA Dodgers are still the best you can get is 8-1 to win the World Series, man. Guys, wait on that. Wait on that.
I can't place that. That doesn't make sense. The Dodgers are like the one team that I've almost nothing on because they've been favorites from the beginning.
Yeah, me too. Me too, man.
And I really dislike that team. And the thing is maybe it's because the Giants' schedule it's ridiculous. So they were home against the Nationals and they swept them, which was awesome. But then, they were at St. Louis. They lost 2 out of 3. They've lost the first 2 out of 3 at Pittsburgh. So, if they win today, they get a 4-game split. They go home after this. But, dude, they go home to face the Cubs and the Cardinals. Crazy. And then they go on the road to the Dodgers to start that first week of September.
Got it.
So that schedule for the Giants is brutal.
Yeah,
so
it is.
That is, so if you look at the Diamondbacks schedule and compare, if the Giants go on a little slide here, the Diamondbacks are at Cincinnati right now. Then they have to go home and play St. Louis, which is really tough for 4 games.
Yep.
But then they have the Athletics and the Rockies for 8 games, I believe, or 6 games. So you never know what could really happen here. The Diamondbacks, if they could find a way to split with the Cardinals and go on a run against the A's and the Rockies, hey, they've won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
Let's see what they can do.
Boston Red Sox right now, the best you can get is 500-1 to win the whole thing, man. And believe it or not, the Detroit Tigers are only 4 games out. They do have the best batting average and on-base percentage in the league, and they are 180-1, Dan. But, the Texas Rangers kind of showed them who was boss so far in this series.
Yeah, I know that shocked a lot of people. I didn't throw any money on that, but I know some people did. And it is a little crazy. But, hey, this is going to be really interesting, at least in the AL. I think you're going to get a good race out of the NL West. I obviously love my Mets, but 5 games up, there's still a lot of baseball to play.
39 games left.
Yeah, I got to think that the Nationals, try and do something. Maybe it's just too late. Maybe I picked them to go to the World Series.
Yes, you did.
Along with a lot of people.
Right now, the Washington Nationals are 20-1 to win the whole thing, Dan. 20-1. And guys, just real quick, running it down, I might as well because you know damn well this is how your boy makes all kinds of money in sports. The St. Lucia Cardinals 6-1, Kansas City Royals 6-1, Toronto Blue Jays 7-1. These are the best lines that we can find you on SportsBettersTV.com. LA Dodgers 8-1, New York Mets. Listen, Dan, I know I see what the Mets have been doing. I respect their pitching. I respect their rotation. But when I'm seeing these 9-1s with the Mets, it's not sitting right with me, dude. I think they are. I think them. I don't want to put them in the same class as the Dodgers, but they should be more of like a 15-1, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing. The reason why the Mets are where they are, and I was talking to one of my boys about this yesterday, is because that pitching is so dominant. Yeah. If they get into the playoffs, think about it. You go into the playoffs.
I know.
And let's say, and the bullpen's going to look differently, right? Because you're going to have probably Bartolo Colon and John Neese in the bullpen if you need them.
Okay.
And not only that, but you have a dominant 8th inning guy and a dominant closer. Okay, those guys. Clifford has been really, really good. Lights out.
Yeah.
Familia, after that early bump after the All-Star break, has been lights out again.
Yeah.
You're telling me you got Harvey, DeGrom, and Syndergaard because you're going to throw Syndergaard at home where he has like a 1.71 ERA.
Yep.
You got Harvey and DeGrom, which, just outrageous right there. And those guys will go 8 innings if need be. you'll throw them 8 innings in the playoffs, and then you'll go right to Clipper to Familia.
Yeah.
Even if they go 7 full, and the bats have been there. Look, and I'm not saying I know what he's going to be like. You're getting David Wright back on Monday.
Okay.
David Wright returns at Philadelphia tomorrow.
Got you.
So if he's, and that offense, like they said, the offense has been on fire. And when you have pitching like they have, and a 5-game lead in your division, it's not like the Dodgers are a little different. They have 2 pitchers, not 3, and they're also only a game up. Yep. So I see what you're saying. I would obviously like it better at 15-1. I love being underrated. I like making money on that. But I see where the books are coming from.
Yeah, I just, I'm painting the picture back in my brain to the Pittsburgh Pirates coming into the Metropolitans and sweeping them at home. So, you know what I mean?
You didn't get, you had Harvey in that series.
Yeah, you didn't have DeGrom.
And 2 of the games did go to extras.
Yeah.
So, look, hey, I'll be the first one to admit, if you get into the meat of that Mets bullpen, the Mets are in trouble. If you have to take a starter out, in the 5th or 6th inning, which almost never happens. Look, the Mets lead the league in quality starts by a long shot, which means that the pitchers go at least 6 innings and give up 3 runs or less.
Got it. So when you look at this here, the New York Metropolitans, as I alluded to earlier, 9-1. The New York Yankees, 12-1 to win the whole thing. I've pumped a lot of them.
Crazy.
You think they should be worse than that or better?
I think they should be around, 15-17-1.
Okay. Well, equivalent to like the Cubs and Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh's 13-1, the Astros 14-1, the Cubs 15-1, the San Francisco Giants 19-1, and we talked about the Washington Nationals being 20-1.
Right. Now, here's the thing. I know a lot of people like betting the Yankees. I get it. I mean, you see a lot of action on them.
Just like the Dodgers, yep.
Right. So what you guys want to do, if you feel the need to bet the Yankees, just give it a few days, because I think, Toronto, once they recapture first place, which I think they'll do in 3 or 4 days, that line on the Yankees, once they are sitting in a wild card, will change.
Yeah, you're probably gonna get 13, 14, 15-1 at that point.
Right.
So we got to be smart about this.
I don't like. I've never been a Yankee hater, even as a Mets fan, but I just, there's something about that team that I just don't like.
Yeah, got it, man.
I watch a fair amount of them.
I hear you. I know we're taking some time during the show here, Dan, but this is really important, man, because there is, guys, all the game stuff is kind of difficult to make money in. I mean, I know there's a bunch of guys out there that do it, and God bless them, but futures is really where you're gonna capitalize here, especially with there not being one dominant team. There's a bunch of dominant teams, so it's like perfect right now.
And guys, also when September comes, this is the thing. You got to watch out for September call-ups. Teams expand their roster to the full 40-man roster, right? So you can have 40 guys in your clubhouse. So that means, like, for instance, the Mets made a very underrated acquisition yesterday. They bought Eric Young Jr. back from the Braves and put him in AAA for the sole reason. Remember how the Royals last year, right? They had pinch runners.
Yeah, good point.
They had guys that would come in and just steal bases. That's all they signed Eric Young Jr. to do, and it's fine because you got 40 guys in your dugout.
Good point, Dan. Good point, man. So, I've managed to hammer the Texas Rangers to pay absolutely madness as far as money's concerned. Now they're down to 35-1. I hammered a bunch of 80-1s before, earlier in the season. There was actually some 200s-1 with them, dude. Back a couple of months ago. Minnesota Twins 90-1. Yep, Minnesota Twins 90-1. Tampa Bay Rays 60-1. And the LA Angels 22-1, which I'm not quite sure about them. I have them as well, but I'm not quite sure about them, to be honest with you.
Look, like we talked about before the show, Trout is in like an epic slump.
Yes.
I mean, for the month of August, he's hitting like $1.79.
Wow.
So,
unbelievable.
hey, it's the 23rd of August already, so he would have to go on like some crazy 12 for 12 run at the plate. Bring that up.
Yeah, best player in baseball. Best player in baseball. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. And anybody can go in a slump at any time. That is the game of baseball, dude.
And if Texas gets into that one game, I mean, Hamels has a lot of playoff experience. I don't
Sure.
love Hamels like anybody, but he does have the experience. Could be very, very interesting.
Of course. I'd love to see that, man. So big ups to every single person that's out there retweeting the show on a Sunday morning. We appreciate you guys. If you could do it for us, we will announce your name. I got G. Rose. I got Justin Hernandez, Jordy Best, my man Jay Cast, who's giving out some soccer today. He's giving out, Man City Moneyline and Watford Moneyline. Plus 176. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. Got my boy Holiday out there. Got the VEV. Let's see who else. AZ Wildcat is getting ready to do some horses today. Good morning to you. I got Marlon out there. I've got MG86. He said, yeah, get ready to dude, you're funny, man. Let's see. I got Christos out there. Average Joe Punter all the way in Australia at Cousin Jack's. I got Kian Vu. I got the Total Sports Edge. I got Snoopy Betts. Let's see. The KRUK Kruk. What's going on, buddy? How are you? I mentioned Snoopy Betts already. Got Jason Satterley. What's going on, buddy? Got C. Rodriguez Jr. 5-1 is out there. Tip Talker. I got, let's see, Rich Raven. Sir Mata is out there. Good morning to you. The Direct Sports Solutions and Vegas Girl 92661, along with Faz Lane. Saying we're taking over the world, baby. Yes, sir. Yes, yeah. We are, man.
And
all
for
right.
all you guys that are listening to, shout out to that. And also, hey, 2 spots left in the SBTVNation, Fantasy Football League.
Oh, nice.
DM me all details. If you first 2 that confirmed are in. So we already got pretty much a full league. Just waiting.
All right, sounds good, guys. So if you want to get involved with the fantasy football league that Dr. Dan is throwing, it's a $275 buy-in. He does not make a penny off it.
Nope.
What's happening is all that money's getting distributed to the winners. $1,000 goes to the first place, $750 to the second place, $500 to the third place, and $250 for the respective division winners. And there would be 2 of them. So if you add that up times 10, that's $275 times 10. The total payout is $2,750. So, hey, man, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all the trash talking that's going to go on.
I know. We got some epic trash talkers out there already. I mean, I know Kid and Dream already been hooting and hollering a little bit. We got shot picks out there that, and I know Clown Man's going to be talking his mouth.
Of course, man. And
I'm looking forward to cleaning up.
Yes. Angelo Nunez, Tanakis, thank you very much for retweeting our show. Guys, come on. Keep going, man. You're on Twitter. You know what to do. It's the hashtag SBTVNation. It's called Retweet and Listen Now, Sports Betting Live. That really helps us out, and we will help you out by announcing your name. So let's get right into it, Dan. We got some MLBs to discuss, dude, because we got to find some money today. And I got news for you, man. It may sound like I'm chasing, but there's a game that I'm really feeling, and I just have to do it. As crazy as it sounds, I'm gonna have to mess around with this particular matchup here. So let me get into it, and we will go from there, guys. Just let me see what I got going on. 1 second while I switch this up. Just bear with me.
Yo, and MG, you're saying that familiar reminds you of Mel Rojas. That's hilarious.
Yes.
I like that. Mel Rojas, the long time, Montreal Expo, and he also was on the Mets for a little bit as a closer. But I think Familiar's a little better than Mel Rojas.
All right, man. We are switching to MLB's game to game to game right about now. Yes.
This sounds like money.
Because it is money, Dan. Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, baby. So 1:05 Eastern Standard Time. We got the Cleveland Indians coming into the New York Yankees. Cleveland with Mr. Trevor Bauer versus New York CC Sabathia. And, dude, I crushed the game with the Boston Red Sox versus Cleveland when Trevor Bauer was on the mound. The Red Sox went ham on him. And I don't see, you know what, this dude's been getting blown up a lot, man. I don't have a line here, though, yet, Dan. What do you got for a line here?
Let me see. On my book of choice, I got Sabathia -1, the Stanks -170, Indians +150 with an over-under of 8.5.
Wow.
Huh.
Yankees pretty heavily favored in that matchup, huh?
Yeah. That's a little crazy.
I don't think it's that crazy. Trevor Bauer's being trash, kid. Trevor Bauer, 9-10 with a 4.62 ERA, kid. And go ahead.
In his last 7, he's 1-5 with a 7.05. I mean, that's absolute garbage, you know. And then CC Sabathia, in his last 7, he's 1-1 with a 4.43. You know what? I'm riding this 8.5 over.
Yeah, you got to ride the over there.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to. How about what about the New York Yankees team total over? What do you think about that, Dan? Because I'm not sure if I really trust the. You think I remember CC not being so bad as of late, though, Dan.
No, I mean, but he hasn't been. He's been mediocre. Like I said, his last 7, he's made 7 starts. He's 1-1 with a 4.43.
Yeah, and Minnesota Twins actually scored 4 runs on him in 6 and a third inning, in 6 2/3 innings. So,
right,
but
5 hits, 4 earned. He also walked 3 in that game. Yeah, man. I mean, the 8.5 there. I mean, it's Sabathia's old team, which I guess should pump him up, but I don't know. I mean, I don't buy too much into that. But really, what I'm going off here is Trevor Bauer, man, is
brutal.
30 in his last 7 starts. He's only gone 37 innings over those 7 starts.
Wow.
He's given up 42 hits, 29 earned runs, 15 walks, and he has a 1.54 whip. So there might be something wrong with him because this is like distinctly different than the Trevor Bauer that started the year.
Absolutely.
But yeah, man, I mean, I got for 8.5. For 8.5, I got to ride it.
All right. Big ups to Jeff Ryan, Paul Allen, and Heavy365 retweeting our show on Twitter. Thank you very much, guys. Dan, I'm in agreement with you on that. I may buy that down to 8.5 and parlay it with something now.
Yeah, I have it on mine at 8.5.
You have 8.5. Let me take a look and see if Sports Bettors TV has anywhere else for that line. Let's see. Looking at it right now. 8.5's all across the board. I actually got the Yankees minus 154 here, dude. So the line's coming down a little bit, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, there's something though that's screaming Indians here to me. I think this is gonna be one of those crazy. There's something that's screaming like this is gonna be one of those crazy high-scoring games where maybe both starters get knocked out early. I don't know. That's why I'm going to go with the over because that's what I really feel. But I don't know.
I agree with you with the over, man. So let's keep it moving and see if there's anything else. I'm not necessarily saying I'm in love with it, but I do understand it. That's how I'm going to leave that one. We got the Texas Rangers putting their ace, Mr. Cole Hamels, on the mound versus Detroit with Matt Boyd. When I look at this, I've got a Texas Rangers minus 122 with an under-over of 8.5 runs. Dan, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, as you said, you got Cole Hamels, who since coming over has not been great. I mean, his last 7 starts overall, he's 1-2 with a 5.44. And then you got Matt Boyd, who has started 5 games. He's 1-3 with a 7.66.
Ooh.
So I don't even know. Again, I like the over here, but it's minus 125 for a reason. Yep. But I think I still got to roll it. I mean, you got, a combined 13 ERA between the two pitchers.
Yeah, man, I'm surprised that Cole Hamels actually favored on the road with Texas, but
that's the thing. It's because Boyd.
Yeah,
is so
Boyd's
bad.
been terrible. You're right. You're
Boyd
absolutely
is so
right
bad,
there.
But that's the thing. That's why I got to take the over because I think it's going to be one of those where these guys and Detroit, like you said, they hit for average. They're the best average hitting team
best batting average and best on base percentage in the league. What do you got for a whip on Cole Hamels?
Yeah, so Cole Hamels in his last 7, his whip is 1.4.
1.4. Okay, so that's it's
pretty bad. It's towards. I mean, for someone that's especially deemed an ace, Give me a break.
I got it. All right.
2.4. That's you're allowing almost a runner and a half per inning. So then you take that and you combine it with the best on base percentage team in baseball. I really want to go Detroit here. Like I really want to just man up and do it because I think they kill him. But Boyd is going to get murdered.
Got it. Okay, and what's Boyd's whip?
Oh my God, Matt Boyd's whip is 1.74.
Wow, almost 2 base runners per inning. You know what? You're crazy for taking Detroit, Dan. I got.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to take the over.
Oh, okay, got it.
I'm just going to put an extra unit on the over, so I don't feel like I lose anything.
I hear you.
It'll be a 2-1 game. You know, Boyd will throw a no hitter like Fires.
Right. Exactly. All right. Next one we have Arizona, Cincinnati. Arizona, Chase Anderson. Cincinnati, Raciel Iglesias. Arizona, Cincinnati's actually favored minus 124 under over of 8 runs. Dan, what do you think with the red hot Arizona Diamondbacks?
I think I'm going to have to ride these guys again.
You think so? At plus money, huh?
Yeah, plus money. I mean, Anderson, he's 5-5 with a 4.51. Raciel Iglesias is 3-4 with a 4.21. You know, and Chase Anderson, in his last 2 starts, he hasn't been good. Let's do that. You know, hey, he gave up 5 earned in his last 2 starts each time. But at home on August 7th, he shut out the Cincinnati Reds. So, and then, you know, Raciel Iglesias, he pitched great against the Royals his last time out, and his last start was at San Diego where he gave 3 earned. His last 7 overall, he's 2-3 with a 3.67. I think the Diamondbacks are hot right now. They finally got to the 500 mark. I think they actually go over it tonight.
Oh, really?
I really do. At plus 115, the pitchers they match up too evenly. And especially you have a guy that dominated the Reds in his last start. I know this is on the road. It's a little different, but both stadiums are easy to hit home runs in, so you still have to pitch the same. Yeah, plus 115. I really like the D-backs today.
And very interesting, Dan. Hey, well, you know how they feel about being 500. They just can't seem to climb over that. So that's what scares me about that. Call me superstitious or whatever, but I don't know. I'm not going to mess with that one either, bro. To be honest with you. All right. Are you interested in Philadelphia and Miami? Because I'm not.
Nope. I think the books just gave up on this. It's like minus 110 on each side. Over
yeah, right. Let's just spit out a line here. Philadelphia minus 105, Miami minus 103, under over of 8.
Talk about flip a coin.
Flip a coin, baby. Let's see. Aaron Nola for Philadelphia versus Adam Conley for the Miami Marlins. So, Phillies won yesterday with Aaron Harang on the mound, kid. So he finally caught a win.
I know. It was a tough time that Harang got back to figuring out, how to actually win a game.
Yes.
But, right now, hey, I think 21 losses for our push, kid.
21 losses for the push.
For those of you that don't know, obviously, Hatter and I have a long-standing bet for playoff tickets to basically the closest team that gets into the playoffs. The push number is 95 on Philly's losses. So if they go over 95 losses, I win. If they're under, Hatter wins.
Yes, sir. So we'll see what ends up happening and where that lands, Dan. So, as far as that game, guys, you know what? No real opinion on that. So I think I'm going to stay away from it and move on to
game full of, there's games for days, guys.
Yeah, there's games for days. Exactly, man. Milwaukee at Washington. Milwaukee, Matt Garza versus Jordan Zimmerman for the Washington Nationals. And the Washington Nationals are, let's see, minus 178 juice. They did end up coming out and laying the smackdown on the Brewers yesterday, Dan. So I was on the right side of that, thank God, because that made up for my Baltimore Orioles play. But, it's under over is 7.5 here. What do you got?
I like the over here again.
7.5, huh?
Yeah, I mean, look, I know that Zimmerman was good in his last 2 starts before, Colorado. And Colorado, you can't really hold that against him. Garza, though, is, really, really bad. His last start, Miami, 5 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned.
Yes.
I know he had a decent start against the Cubs to start before that, and a good one against the Padres. But in his last 7, he's 2-3 with a 3.80. Jordan Zimmerman in his last 7 is actually 1-3 with a 4.01. Right? 7.5 doesn't make sense here, and neither does this crazy line of minus 185.
Is that what you got, huh? Minus 185. I'm seeing.
Yeah.
It's probably going to come down a touch, so you might want to wait.
I mean, you can't touch Garza. I mean, he's like liquid lava. If you touch him, you're just bound to get burned.
Liquid lava. Wow.
I mean, he's terrible, dude. He's 6-18 on the season with like, if you bet Matt Garza starts, you're I don't know why anybody would, but I guess there's some crazy people out there. You're in trouble. But man, I got to go with the over 7.5. I actually expected this to be a full run higher.
Got it. All right, man. So we'll see what ends up happening with that, and we will go from there. Minnesota at the Baltimore Orioles today. Just so you know, guys, I'm probably not going to bet the Nationals today, especially after they got that one win. You know what I mean? It's probably the one win they're going to get, and how they've been playing. I mean, they're like a sub 500 team right now. I think are they 500 now again, Dan? Yeah, 500.
They just got back to 500.
All right. So, and surprisingly, they're only 20-1 to win the World Series. So crazy. And you take some other teams that are like 500 that are like 200-1. It's absolutely nuts.
Oh, I mean, Nationals have no business. Business.
Minnesota putting big Pelf on the mound. Michael Pelfrey versus Kevin Gossman of the Baltimore Orioles. Baltimore Orioles have been losing to the Minnesota Twins, but they're minus 175 today with an under-over of 8.5 runs. And you know what? Call me crazy, but I'm going to dip my toe in the water again with the Baltimore Orioles because I can't.
Do it.
No?
Don't. I'm riding Big Pelf.
You're riding Big Pelf, huh?
Big Pelf, his last two starts, home against Texas.
Wow.
7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned. At the Stanks, he did only go 5 1/3, but he gave up only 5 hits and an earned run.
Yeah, and those are two top offenses in baseball. What happened to him versus Cleve with 7 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings? What happened there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing he gave up 9 hits and 4 earned in that game. Just bad game, but his last 7 starts overall, he's 1-2, but he has a 2.93 ERA. Gossman is terrible, dude.
So why are they minus 175?
It makes no sense. Gossman in his last 7 is 1-5 with a 5.23.
Wow.
I mean,
all right, maybe you talked me off that.
In 9 starts, Gossman is 2-5 with a 4.48 over the season. I mean, this is crazy to me.
You think it's more of people chasing the Orioles while they're getting all this steam?
I think that's what it is, and people playing the. I think a lot of people, play that no sweep or whatever.
Got it.
But at plus 155, and look, I know the Giants burned me on a plus 150 yesterday. But, I mean, Mike Pelfrey has been really good. He has a 2 ERA better than Gossman. And on the road, he's been lights out. I mean, and the Orioles have just found ways to lose lately. I have to ride Mike Pelfrey and the Minnesota Twins here.
All right, man. Good luck. I'm going to do some further homework on that and see where it lands, Dan. So we will go from there. So the next game I have on the ticket is, let's see. We gotta make sure that we get through all these games on time, Dan. So, the booty ones we'll kind of skip over. But
yeah.
Kansas City and Boston, Edison Volquez versus Eduardo Rodriguez. Man, let's see. Boston, Kansas City only minus 110. Boston plus 105. Under over of 8.5 runs. And guys, I'm reading these off SportsBettersTV.com, so you probably got some different lines. We're looking at the best lines right now. What do you have here, Dan? You think the Boston Red Sox can win this series?
No, I think Kansas City comes out and wins this game today.
You think so, huh?
Look, Volquez had that one bad start against Detroit, sandwiched in between 2 really good starts. The home start against the White Sox, where he only gave up 4 hits and an earned run. And then his last start going back to Cincinnati, 4 hits and an earned run. In his last 7, he's 3-3 with a 2.93. He's a veteran. A small ballpark like Fenway doesn't bother him. A road start doesn't bother him. And then you got Eduardo Rodriguez, who, at the Stanks, he had an okay start, 7 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned. His start after that at Miami, he got shelled, 9 hits, 8 earned in 5 innings. And he had a magical start last time out against Cleveland. But overall, in his last 7, he's 3-3 with a 5.4. I gotta go with the Royals here at this -110 number. Again, a line that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe I'm putting the hook in my mouth today.
Yeah, but, you might be, dude.
I might be. I might get caught today. I might get caught, but I actually like the Royals. I like the under. I'm not going to play it because it's -125 at 9. If it gets to 8.5, I'll still play the under, though.
All right. So looking at my boy Marlon, it sounds like he is looking at the Washington Nationals, saying that Zimmerman had been 4-0 with a 2.35 ERA and 5 career starts versus Milwaukee. And he said Garza's 0-3 with a 6.27 and 7 career starts versus the Nationals. So we'll see what ends up happening with that. If that's
I think the Nasties will probably win the game. I just like the over. I just can't take it at -175, -180. That's nuts.
I concur, Dan. We'll see what ends up happening with that. I don't know if I'm going to get involved in it, though. I don't know. The LA Dodgers putting on Clayton Kershaw versus Lance McCullers of the Houston Astros. When I look at this game here, let me see what the line is on SBTV. Can't find it. Why can't I find this line, Dan?
All right, I got a line.
I got it.
Got the Dodgers -175, the Astros +155, over under of 6.5.
Oof.
Oh man. So I'm actually pairing this game. I'm parlaying this with the next game we'll probably talk about.
Okay.
But I'm also gonna ride the over.
6.5, huh?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see what ends up happening. I mean, McCullers
has been brutal. This is his first start coming back from Double-A, and look, the Dodgers. I mean, McCullers overall is 5-4 with a 3.17, but he has those, and Kershaw's 10-6 with a 2.34. Look, remember McCullers? His last start was August 3rd. He got absolutely shelled. He went 0.1 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs.
That was the crazy game where it was like, what was it, like 6-2 or something in the first inning?
Yeah, it was something crazy. And I never agreed with them sending McCullers down. I mean, look, I'm not a pro. But he had a couple good starts before that, but obviously they saw something that was really concerning. And look, Kershaw, up until his last 2 starts, has gotten hit around on the road a little bit. I mean, he had that good start against Oakland on the road last time out, but then remember, Pittsburgh banged him around a little bit for 9 hits and 4 earned.
Sure.
So I think that this over-under is 6.5. I could see this game being, 4-3, okay, something like that. And it's going to be close, but I think the over hits. And I like the Dodgers to win this game, and I'm going to pair them with the Cubs.
Okay, yeah. Speaking of the Cubs are -196 with an under-over of 9 today, man. Atlanta's putting Matt Wisler versus Jason Hamill. And, dude, Dan Herron got blown up as you talked about yesterday. Dude, great call on that Cubs over yesterday, man.
Thank you.
That hit in the 5th inning. You were done with that.
Yeah. It was funny. I was telling Hatter, I went to, since there was only one afternoon game, I took my kids, my wife, one of the big state fairs we have here in Connecticut. And I walk over, I have no service, and finally I see Hatter's text message, and I'm like, wait, already? I'm like, the over hit in the 5th inning, and I look, I finally catch a glimpse of my phone. Look, hey, you got Whistler on the mound today for the Braves. He's 5-3 with a 4.65, so they have scored runs behind him. You got Hamill, who's 6-5 with a 3.37. He got banged around his last start against the Tigers, where he only went 3 innings.
Yeah.
So this is the problem I have with Hamill, is he's only gone short in the games. His last 7 starts, he's 1-1 with a 5.14. The Cubs are just playing such good baseball, and the Braves are so bad on the road.
Yeah.
This is a game where I'm not even really paying attention to the starters. I mean, Whistler, another thing, Whistler hasn't gone deep into games. He's never gone past I don't think he's gone out of the fifth inning, at least not in his last 3 starts. And, he had Tampa Bay where he gave up 2 earned in 5 innings, and San Diego where he gave 2 earned in 5. The Cubs' offense is way better than both of those. So, I like the over and I like the Cubs. I know I'm playing a lot of overs today, but it's not even out yet. I can't even find an over yet, but we'll see. But I do like the Cubs to just smash them.
I got an under-over of 9, Dan.
I like that. I like the over of that.
Yeah, you do, huh?
I do. I like it again. I think both these teams have been scoring runs. Something is telling me that the Cubs might cover that over by themselves today.
Really? Well, they scored 9 runs yesterday.
Yeah, I know. And when a team's hot, you score runs in bunches. I'm trying to look up to see what the wind is doing out in Wrigley right now.
Okay.
Because especially if that wind is blowing out a little bit, it's hot, it's humid, the ball jumps out of that ballpark. Whistler is not that good. So, I got to ride it again.
All right.
Over, and I'm going to pair the Cubs with the Dodgers. Guys, but here's the thing. You also might get a chance if you play the Cubs here where they might go down 3-0, and you would want to put a play on the Cubs. It's just my personal style, and the Cubs have made me some money doing that because they just can bludgeon a team to death.
I got you, man. A couple of more games here, dude. We'll get into. I'm trying to find the relative ones. Obviously, you got Toronto at the LA Angels.
Yeah.
Toronto putting their knuckler, Mr. R.A. Dickey versus Garrett Richards. Let's see what I've got for a line here on this particular game. Give me 1 second, guys. Toronto Blue Jays are minus 121. Is that correct, Dan?
I see it. You can get it at minus 115.
Oh, I'm looking at the other game here. Yeah, minus 109. I got here.
Yep.
Under over of 8 runs. What are you thinking here with the Toronto Blue Jays, man? I mean, R.A. Dickey up until his last start was halfway decent.
Yeah, look, he that last start at Philadelphia, when the knuckleball just sometimes is off, and especially in a park like Philadelphia, you get tagged for the home run ball. Yep. But overall, in his last 7, he's 4-0 with a 2.33.
Yeah, definitely, man. He only let up a run versus the Yankees and shut out the Kansas City Royals. So
right, and Garrett Richards in his last 7 is 3-3 with a 3.44. I actually like Toronto here. That offense, it doesn't matter, home, road, whatever. I like Toronto, and again, I'm rocking this over.
All right, sounds good, man. So with the under-over of 8, you're feeling that. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I think Toronto really gets to Garrett Richards today. I'm just not a Garrett Richards guy. Look, in his last 2 home starts, he gave up 3 earned against Baltimore in 6 innings and 2 earned against the White Sox. I just think that Toronto can tag anybody. And it's not like Garrett Richards is a lights out all-star pitcher.
Got it. Okay, so there's 5 more games, Dan. We'll skip over the ones that we're not really feeling. I don't like this Tampa Bay Oakland game. I don't know how you feel about it with Jake Oradizzi for Tampa Bay versus Kendall Graverman of Oakland.
Guys, it's a 50-50 coin flip. I won't waste your time.
Right, Tampa Bay minus 123 with an under-over of 7.5 there. You got your New York Metropolitans at Colorado putting a rookie on the mound, Logan Verrett versus David Hale. Why are they sitting Harvey?
Oh, man. It's the innings limit. They don't want to have to, how a few years ago the Nationals shut down Strasburg for the playoffs, and the baseball gods have not forgiven them since. Harvey, look, he's coming off Tommy John surgery. They wanted to keep him, right around the 200 innings for the season.
Okay.
So it makes sense, especially, I'm actually in favor of it, especially for a Coors Field game where I don't think it matters who pitches. I really don't, because, look, I think that your best chance to win a game like that is to have a fireballer, striking, 12 guys out. But, hey, it's Logan Verrett's first start. All I can say here is over.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
You've already, look, if you've been playing me, you've been playing the over on these games, at Coors Field. And honestly, what I'm doing next year, and I've got to look at the percentages and do some research, I might take the over in every Coors Field game.
I think it's split, though, Dan.
Is it split?
I think it's split because I looked at that earlier in the year and it was kind of split. It was like, I want to say it was like 80 games in, like almost like near the All-Star break, and it was split. So I don't know if you want to. I don't know if you want to get involved in that. To be honest with you, I could tell you though, if it is split, you could just chase the overs, like double down, triple down until you hit it.
Right.
I mean that's definitely something you could do.
Right. So that you do, but here's the thing. Logan Verrett has had. He's only thrown 13 innings in the major leagues. 22 innings in the major leagues. And he hasn't started a game, but he has a 2.82 ERA. And in his last 7 appearances in 13 innings, he has a .68 ERA and a .6 WHIP.
Got it.
But that's in relief. But then here's the thing. I expect the Mets again to get to the Rockies starting pitcher. David Hale is brutal. His last start out, again, another Coors Field home start, 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned against the Nasties. His last 7, 1-4 with a 7.34. And I think the Mets are going to have to go to the bullpen pretty early with Barrett on the mound. And look, I'm a realist. I think their bullpen gives up a few runs, and this over is pretty easily covered today at 11.
All right, sounds good, man. Sounds good. So the next one we have on a ticket, Dan, is St. Lucia, who's been getting beat up by the San Diego Padres. St. Lucia, Michael Wacha versus Colin Rea for the San Diego Padres. And when I look at this line, we have St. Louis minus 145 with an under-over 7, Dan. What you got here?
I got nothing. I'm a little shocked at what's been going on. I mean, look, I got to think that St. Louis wins this game, but I don't like the minus 150.
No.
Especially on the road. I understand it's Wacha. He's 14-4 with a 2.85. I mean, he's been absolutely ridiculous. Look, his last road start. I like the Cardinals here, but I'm not gonna touch it.
All right, I agree with you on that. All right, so the next one we have is the White Sox coming into Seattle. White Sox with John Danks on the mound versus Tawan Walker. And when I look at Walker, I remember him having, he hasn't been that bad, Dan.
I mean, Tawan Walker is okay. Overall in the year, he's 8-7 with a 4.60. And remember, he had that terrible, start to the year.
Yeah.
And then you got Danks, who is 6-10 with a 4.61. I got no true opinion on this. I mean, I actually think that the over again. I mean, it's 7.5. That is really fishy to me.
Got it.
That's a really. I mean, it just doesn't seem right. I mean, Tawan Walker still gives up 2 or 3 runs a game. John Danks gives up, 4 or 5 runs a game, and it's 7.5.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
I'm just going to stay away from that one. If I lean anywhere, that's the only lean.
They're looking at these brutal offenses, Dan. That's the problem. Both teams average less than 4 runs a game, dude. So that's probably where that's coming from, man. So let's see what the next one is on the ticket, guys. We have the, let's see. Scrolling down. Give me a second here. 8:23. Let me just see. Sunday Night Baseball. We got the San Francisco Giants at the Pittsburgh Pirates. San Francisco is putting Ryan Vogelsong versus Francisco Loriano, and the line is Pittsburgh minus 176 with an under-over of 7.5 runs. Dude, last time Pittsburgh was on Sunday Night Baseball, they crushed the Dodgers, though, dude.
And they're about to get crushed today.
You think so, huh? San Francisco plus 170?
I think so, man. Look, Liriano, I know in his last 7 he's 3-0, but he has a 4.28.
Okay.
Remember that last home game against Arizona, he gave up 6 hits and 5 earned runs and walked 3 guys. In the start before that at home, he won the game, but he still gave up. Or no, he didn't win the game against the Dodgers. Remember, he got shelled. He didn't lose. They came back and won with runs. 7 hits, 4 earned, 2 walks, only 4 strikeouts in 3 innings. So his last 2 home starts have been terrible.
Okay.
And then you have Vogelsong, who, look, and I know the Nationals have been terrible, but he did only give up 1 earned run and 3 hits over 5 innings. And then at St. Louis, he shut him out over 6 innings, only giving up 2 hits. Vogelsong has been back to pitching pretty decently. He's found a little bit of something in his last 7 games. He's had 3 starts. He's 2-2 with a 3.18. Look, man, I'm gonna ride it here because there's no way the Giants should be plus 165. And Liriano's given up runs at home lately. I mean, plus 190 is crazy.
Plus 190 is crazy, man. So
minus 190, sorry.
Yeah, I'm looking at plus 170 and minus 176 is the best you can get on this particular game. But, yeah, man, I don't know. I don't really like this particular matchup here. I mean, it is the time to shine as far as a nationally televised game tonight. Pittsburgh 4-1 in the last 5 games. San Francisco 2-4 in their last 6. But you expect them to bounce back even though they're 2-8 in the last 10 on the road. Ouch.
Yeah. And,
nasty.
I know it's crazy to say this, and I know Pittsburgh's been good lately, but who has more big game experience? I mean, think about all the pennant races that Vogelsong has been in. And they also know, they'll already know. I mean, if the Dodgers lose to Houston, which obviously it's unlikely with Kershaw on the mound, I mean, I think they win. But if they lose, you then definitely got to ride the Giants, knowing that if they win, they're then in first place.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
It's not like Liriano's been lights out lately.
Got it.
So that's why I'm gonna wait till later, but I am playing the Giants.
All right, sounds good, man. Sounds good. So Dan, so that does it for MLBs. I just have to do a quick segment on something else, which people do gamble on, and people have been hitting me up and they say, hey, who you feeling tonight as far as WWE SummerSlam? And so, hey, I got to look at it, dude. It's a 4-hour show tonight, so we got to get right into that, Dan, real quick. I know you don't really care. It's almost like...
Go for it, man. Hey, I like when the people are happy.
You got to take care of your people, you know what I'm saying? So,
oh, yeah.
Yep. So let me take a look and pull up the odds while this is going here.
Is this the one that Jon Stewart's hosting?
Yes.
I'll probably actually watch it.
All right, man. So let's take a look at WWE SummerSlam odds and see what we got going on here, man. So when I take a look at this, obviously one of the big matches here is, let's see, they've got Brock Lesnar versus The Undertaker tonight. The Undertaker's like, God, dude, he's got to be in his 50s at this point. So, and he is looking old, man. So, I mean, in a real fight, obviously, Brock Lesnar would destroy anybody in the WWE. But, he's going to play the role. I got to be honest with you. I'd be a little afraid for The Undertaker here because being in his 50s and Brock Lesnar, what he does is, he just keeps dropping guys on their head like 20 times each match. Suplex City, they call it. Undertaker's favored, minus 210 here. I expect this line to jump a little bit, guys. What happens with these? Right now, I'm looking at one particular book. You could DM me if you want to find out where I'm getting these odds from. But I expect The Undertaker losing from WrestleMania. Brock Lesnar was the one that eliminated his streak of 21 consecutive WrestleMania victories. So I expect The Undertaker to win the match because I expect something along the lines of The Rock getting involved because they're setting up Brock Lesnar versus The Rock at WrestleMania coming up next April.
All right.
I would expect The Undertaker to win this matchup. But, hey, you know what, guys? Feel free to do whatever the hell you want. I don't even know if I'm going to bet it, to be honest with you. You got John Cena versus Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is the champ. It's title versus title. John Cena's the I don't know if you saw this, Dan, but this dude, Seth Rollins, broke his nose for real.
No, I did see that. I saw that.
It's crazy, man. So, dude, his nose was like under his left eye. It was absolutely nuts, man. They actually almost, big ups to John Cena for, finishing that match, with a broken nose. It was crazy. But, when you look at this match up here, I expect Seth Rollins to win this match. I don't see them giving Cena the title. He's already had it about 20 times. I just don't know how it's going to go. I'm thinking that maybe
but here's the one thing. The only thing I know about this is, there's a Seth Rollins-Jon Stewart feud.
Oh, okay. You're right. You're absolutely right. I totally forgot about that.
Right. So I'm wondering is if Jon Stewart hops in the ring with a chair at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. I know. Something along those lines happens. But yeah, maybe here's what goes down, because they have this thing called Money in the Bank, where it's a suitcase that you can cash in at any time. That's how Seth Rollins won the championship at WrestleMania. He cashed it in when the champion was down and pinned him. So I think what could end up happening, you're right, maybe Jon Stewart gets involved, beats up on Seth Rollins, and then Sheamus comes down with the suitcase and cashes it in and tries to win the title that way. So this may be, it's going to be hard for John Cena to get pinned. I don't know if I'm going to see him getting pinned in this matchup. Expect some outside interference, and maybe this particular wager gets canceled, because that's usually what happens if none of these guys actually wins the match. You got a couple of others here, guys. It's really thick odds, man. You got Ryback versus The Miz versus The Big Show. This is a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Ryback minus 2,000, bro. Damn. And guys, I got to be honest with you. Some of these pay-per-views have had some 17-1 underdogs win. So keep that in the back of your brains. Usually, it's out of these matches, there's one underdog that emerges. So
Vince McMahon on.
I know, right? I want to see the Trump takeover come back. That was the best when he was in the WrestleMania versus Vince McMahon, and Vince McMahon got his head shaved. But I expect Ryback to emerge minus 2,000. Obviously, those are the dreams kind of numbers and not mine, so I'm not going to play that at all. If anything, I play an underdog there. Let's see what else, if there's anything else of interest here for me. Oh, my girls, the Bella Twins. Ooh, they're in a triple threat match. Let's see, 3-team elimination match. PCB, don't even know who the hell they are, but they are favored in this matchup. Team Bella is plus 385, and Team BAD with this girl Trinity that is like, she's dope. I really love her, and all the people that do Freaky Fridays and send me all the black women, you know how I feel about them. But I think for the most part, I'm not getting involved with that one either. And you got Dolph Ziggler versus Rusev. Rusev minus 180 to win that matchup. Man, I don't really have many picks, dude. I think for the most part, I think the best value you're going to get is The Undertaker minus 210. I think that's what I'm going to do, because I can't see him losing 2 times in a row to Brock Lesnar. I expect some outside interference from somebody like The Rock, and The Undertaker emerges in this matchup. I think that's my play of the day, Dan.
All right.
All right, guys. Hey, I had to do a couple of minutes on WWE SummerSlam.
Hey, like I said, if the people are happy, I'm happy. I have no idea.
I got to take care of the nation, bro. The nation. Dude,
if it's making money, it's making me happy. So
I know, especially when you get plus 1,700 underdogs on some of these. It's nuts, dude. And guys, expect these lines to change. What ends up happening is that the public ends up pounding certain sides, or what ends up happening is like some information gets leaked from the locker room. And what will happen is, I'll give you an example, like Sting versus Triple H last year in WrestleMania. Sting was heavily favored, and then all of a sudden Triple H, like a couple of hours before WrestleMania hit, something leaked, and Triple H was heavily favored. So you could have smashed it if you got the underdog on both sides. So that's pretty much it, man. That's going to do it for our show. So, Dan, what do you got going on as far as the MLBs? Because I'm definitely interested. This is a really ugly card for me to figure out. I'm struggling with this card today.
Ugly card for you, and I got 12 plays.
Wow, 12 plays, you junkie, you.
12 plays.
All right.
It's a Sunday afternoon. I love it.
All right, what do you got?
So what I'm rolling with is this. I got the Diamondbacks at plus 119. I got the Indians Yankees over 8.5. I got the Kansas City Royals at minus 113. Dodgers, Astros over 6.5. Brewers, Nationals over 7.5. The Twins at plus 160. The Mets, Rockies at over 11.5. The Giants at plus 165. The Rangers and Tigers over 8.5. Blue Jays, Angels over 8. Blue Jays minus 109. And then we are also going to roll with the Chicago Cubs, Los Angeles Dodgers 2-team parlay. Believe plus 108.
Dude, you're not going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to take this matchup. I'm going to take the Baltimore Orioles. And I'm going to take them, and I'm going to bet against Trevor Bauer and take the New York Yankees.
Oh, I mean, feel free there. I think that game is going to be just like a crapshoot of bats. I think it's going to be high scoring. Hey, best of luck to you. I hope you win like 17-5.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. So, and Dan, my boy Terrence Mack is looking to join your fantasy league. So, I will tag you and him together as far as Twitter is concerned.
Yeah.
And let's do it, man. It's probably going to be filled up by today.
I would say filled up by the end of the day. I mean, that leaves. I'm waiting on one more confirmation. If your boy gets in, that leaves us, I think, one more spot. So,
all right, guys. That is Dr. Dan Evil Genius on Twitter. Make sure you hit him up if you want to get involved in that. That's, you know what? Usually the leagues I get in are like, $150, $200, but a $275 is a nice payout at the end of the year. Man.
Yeah,
so.
I always like to be able to pay out the division winners. At least get a little bit back. It's a fun league. Like we said, I don't take a dime. I do this for sheer having fun. I wanted to do something with the nation this year and run fantasy leagues for 4 years. So, hey, man, you got one more spot left. Hit me up, guys.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'll make sure I tag you and him together so this way you guys can communicate about that. But we will go from there. Guys, we are the SBTV Nation, the biggest show in the world, 7 days a week, rocking and rolling and having an absolute blast. We love you to death. Go out there, go easy, do your own homework, bet your own plays, make all your dreams a reality, and get that money. Let's go.
Peace.